When looking at the big picture weather patterns that'll influence our winter, all eyes are on what's playing out thousands of miles away in the Pacific Ocean. The El Niño Southern Oscillation is the relationship between the trade winds and fluctuating ocean temperatures. The cool phase is La Niña. Temps in the central and eastern Pacific are above average in El Niño, the warm phase. An El Niño winter typically has the Pacific jet sending wet weather across the southern U.S., while the polar jet is nudged north, allowing above average temperatures reaching from the Pacific Northwest into the Northland. A La Niña winter has a more variable jet pattern that tends to keep the Northland cooler. La Niña is what we've had the past 3 winters. Let's look at how those seasons have stacked up next to me, and for reference, I'm 6'6". 2020 to 2021 brought in 76 inches of snow, which was about a foot below our normal 90. The next year was only 3 inches above average. Then there was last year. Coming in at the snowiest season on record in Duluth, we had 140 inches, which is 5 feet taller than me. We really only had 2 significant months with almost 3 feet in March and a record-setting December that brought in 45 inches. Other months maintained close enough to average for our running total to be 50 inches above normal. But that was last year. We're done with La Niña. The Pacific Ocean is currently very warm, positioning us for a strong El Niño. Meteorologist Sabrina Ullman is breaking down how El Niño has impacted us here in the Northland in years past.
In order to predict this winter, we have to take a look at previous El Niño patterns. From October to April, the average temperature and snowfall in Duluth depends on the strength of El Niño.
With a weak El Niño, we have a slightly below average temperature of 24 degrees and an average of 69.7 inches of snow. That's almost 15 inches below normal. A moderate El Niño tends to have an average temperature of around 3 degrees above normal and 3.7 inches of snow above normal. With a strong El Niño, we actually get the best of both worlds, with temperatures 1.5 degrees above normal and snowfall almost 30 inches below normal.
Right now, it looks like we're heading into a strong El Niño. The past few months have been incredibly similar to the months leading up to the winter of 1972 to 1973, which was also a strong El Niño year. Think back to the flooding we had here this September.
We had over 10 inches of rain in 1 month. The last time we had that was in August of 1972, coming out of La Niña, our pattern for the last few years. The 72-73 winter had a slow start with only half an inch of accumulation by the end of October. December was the snowiest month that year with 20 inches. In addition to the August flood, 1972 was notable for the New Year's Eve blizzard. All in all, the 1972 to 1973 winter only had 45.8 inches of snow in Duluth. International Falls saw 30.4 inches, the third lowest season total on record. Another noteworthy Northland winter was 1986 to 87, a moderate El Niño year. With only 40.6 inches of snow in Duluth, it was the 4th lowest accumulation on record. 97-98 had a strong El Niño and 80.1 inches of accumulation, which is still around 10 inches below normal. With an average November to April temperature of 27 degrees, this winter became known as Duluth's balmy winter. February was extraordinarily warm, averaging 28.4 degrees. That exceeded the normal by 16 degrees. The most recent strong El Niño winter was in 2015-2016 when we had 81.4 inches of snow.
I know, that was a lot of numbers. So let's have Chief Meteorologist Justin Liles break it down and tell us what it means for this winter.
Some of you don't like winter, but many Northlanders do. It's why we live here.
Most people live in Duluth because they want to see a white winter. They want to get out on their skis. They want to get out and ride their snowboard.
We don't often think about how our Northland winters can have huge impacts on our economy, from the hospitality industry and resorts to gas stations, snowmobile sales, ski equipment, and all other winter accessories. A strong El Niño points to a mild winter with less snow. I think we're going to be some 20 to 30 inches below normal for the year. November will start our winter with warmer than average temperatures and little snowfall. You could find yourself sitting in the deer stands in t-shirts. Ski hills will likely spend lots of money making their own snow. December improves some, as we'll see close to 2 feet of snow. It doesn't look like any major storms this December. As January rolls in, lake ice will be poor, terrible snowmobile trails. Expect a shot of colder air when the polar vortex returns for a short time. We're only looking at 13 inches of snow, and a small snowpack could create problems for the bear grease. These conditions were similar in 2007 and 13, also El Niño years, and the sled dog race was canceled due to little snow, and that risk may present itself this winter too. But if December is dry, we'll get more snow in January, which could help out the race. If we're able to run, trail conditions will be sloppy and temperatures will be warm, two things the dogs don't like. As February rolls in, we still might not be looking at much snow. It might not be enough for the Berkey in late February, but conditions could resemble that of the bear grease. Our biggest chance at a large storm will come in March as our pattern begins to change. In 2007, we had a huge blizzard that buried Park Point. But because it's a strong El Niño, not much is expected. Snow will continue into April with little accumulation as well. In the end, we think we'll end up with about 67 inches here in Duluth. As for the rest of the Northland, this map shows where you live. The South Shore and UP may be the hot spots for winter recreation. The Big Lake won't see much ice this year, just like the El Niño of 2016.
You never know with the lake, and the lake didn't freeze this year, so we get a lot of lake effect.
The South Shore will likely be lower than average, but could still pick up over 120 inches.
A warmer winter also means more freezing rain events in January, February, and March. So where's all the winter weather going to be? On the East Coast in Pennsylvania, New York, and Connecticut.